What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Fantasy Football Over Analysis. Today we're talking about the Cleveland Browns, their fantasy relevant players, and whether or not we are targeting or fading them in our drafts this summer. At quarterback, the Browns situation just has to be one of the absolute worst in all of football. Shedeur Sanders, Deshaun Watson, this is going to be a situation where both guys are going to be playing. You're going to have one guy starting a couple games, then get benched, then the other guy is going to jump in and replace him for a couple games, probably get benched again. They'll go back and forth, maybe even Dylan Gabriel or this year's fifth round pick Taylon Green gets in the mix as well. But these are just guys that you want absolutely no parts of in fantasy. Shedeur Sanders, last season when he got his opportunity, there was an occasional flash or two along the way, but there was way more bad than good. He looked overmatched at the NFL level. He turned the ball over in all but one of his starts. And with Deshaun Watson, it's honestly amazing just how little the Browns have gotten for their trade with the Houston Texans several years ago. Watson has given the Browns all of 20 games, and he's never passed for more than 7 touchdowns in a season as the member of the Browns. There's just absolutely no reason to roster either of these quarterbacks unless you're in a 2 quarterback format or super flex and you need a QB3. But even then, if you've gotten yourself to a point where you need to roster one of these two as your QB3, that's bad news indeed. At running back, Quinshon Judkins is the one bright spot that the Browns have to offer fantasy managers this year. Judkins is a true 3 down workhorse. He's a great fit for Todd Monken's offense. Monken, coming over from Baltimore, oversaw some fantastic years for Derrick Henry. And while certainly Derrick Henry's talent level has a lot to do with that, Monken's scheme also had a role in maximizing what Henry was able to do. Now, Monken should be able to do a lot of the same for the younger Judkins, but the Browns also made significant improvements to their offensive line. They spent their first round pick on Spencer Fano. They acquired Titus Howard via trade. They almost completely overhauled what was a terrible unit last year, which once this unit gels, it should also go a long way toward helping Judkins produce at a high level. Judkins' cost also isn't bad at all. He's going around the 5th round in most 12-team leagues. So you could firmly get Judkins as an RB2 or an RB3. And even though we typically don't like to target running backs on bad teams, Judkins is in a situation where he's going to get the volume, he's got talent, he's got the coordinator behind him. I think that he's a good value where he's going, and he's got a chance to at least return value, if not exceed it. Behind Judkins, you don't need to target Dylan Sampson. Sampson had a couple opportunities to be the lead back last year, didn't really do much with it. He's shown that if he were to get a full-time role, he would have decent value from the floor he's going to get from receptions, but he offered so little as a runner, he's not worth drafting as a handcuff. At wide receiver, we don't need to touch Jerry Jeudy. Jeudy has just been consistently disappointing throughout his career. His only wide receiver 1 finish came 2 years ago when he was propped up by Jameis Winston just going out and chucking the ball all over the field 35 plus times a game and pure garbage time moments for the Browns. Jeudy, in all but one other year of his career, has finished outside of the wide receiver 4 ranks. And it's only a matter of time before he gets overtaken by some of the younger guys the Browns have brought in. Casey Concepcion, Denzel Boston, Isaiah Bond, all young guys with plenty of upside that could take over the number 1 role from Jeudy sooner rather than later. And as for the rest of those guys, Concepcion, Boston, these are guys that I would have interest in if the Browns' quarterback situation weren't so terrible. I think regardless of what they're able to do, whether they're able to earn consistent roles in year 1 or not, the quarterback play is just going to hold them hostage. The limitations for the Cleveland wide receivers also applies to their tight end spot, and we love Harold Fannin. Harold Fannin last year broke out as a rookie to finish as the tight end 6 overall. He took the starting job away from David Njoku. The Browns were fine letting him walk as a free agent this offseason. And the problem now is where last year you were able to get Fannin off of the waiver wire early in the year. Now you've got to pay up to get him. He's going to come in as the tight end 5 or tight end 6, like right outside of that Colston Loveland, Tyler Warren range. And there's plenty of data out there that says either you're going to go tight end early or you're going to go late tight end, take 2 sleepers, and find one that's going to have the upside to finish as a tight end 1. Harold Fannin goes in that ugly mid-round range of tight ends that are going to be frustrating, they're probably going to be underwhelming, and they're probably not going to return value on the spot that you take them in. So, unfortunately for this year, Harold Fannin is a fade for me. That's going to do it for this one, guys. So, with Cleveland, like, it's not a surprise that the majority of their fantasy relevant guys are fades here. Quinshon Judkins is the one guy that I would make an exception for, given that I don't think his cost is outrageous. But the guys involved in the passing game, from the quarterbacks being terrible to the wide receivers being young and limited by that quarterback situation, there's just not a lot of reason to have a lot of exposure to the Browns this year.